How funny is that? Meadow, it's okay, girl. She's got the cone of shame on right now because I've noticed that she's pretty rambunctious if I don't have it on, but if I do, hey, no, 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 you don't. We're not getting up on the furniture. Just come down here. Come on, over here, sweet, good girl. Just sit down right here. But if I do have the cone of shame on, she's a lot more subdued. And I took off Meadow's bandage today that she had on her right paw. What had happened was is that about let's see, I guess it was about a week ago this time. I was outside and I was working on clearing some more debris and brush from, like, you know, those gamble oak bushes that are always all over the place. And I laid my clippers down on the ground because they're the type of clippers you can start and you can push a button and they'll stay started. And it ended up that Meadow came running up behind me, and right when I put the clippers on the ground to clear some debris with my hand, she stepped on the clippers, and they were going, you know, just the blades that go like this, and it just mangled her pads on her feet. And so let's see, I can show you what it looks like on her feet here. Let me grab this. Hey, come here, sweetie. Come here. Hey, don't go too far, okay? Well, here, I'll show you too. This is where we're at. We're staying at, it's called Eldon Trails Bed and Breakfast. And I'll put the website link in the comment section here in just a little bit. This place is incredible. What's up, Alan? This place is awesome. I mean, it's amazing, this little sanctuary of oasis they have back in this area. What's up, William? Victor, what's going on? Paul, how's it going? And it's a really nice place. It's a 400 square foot cabin, and you're the only person here at the Airbnb. So here's what the main kind of room looks like. Actually, let me just turn off the lenses there. So this is the main kind of living room area, and then there's also just like kind of like a breakfast nook right there. And then kind of looking this way, this is kind of more of the little living room kind of place. And then what's awesome is I got a darts board, which I've been playing darts. And Meadow has been literally parked in front of the windows here, looking out at the chickens in the chicken coop. Because this place, so what's cool about it, so it's Steve and Marnie that are the owners, really great people, really cool. And they allow pets, which is nice. And you know, the cost for this is just a fraction more than hotels around here. So you might as well get a place like this. You know, and what's awesome too is they grow a lot of their own food here. And this morning I had an excellent breakfast that they made for me. And the reason why I'm in town here is because I had to drop off the Tacoma. We're getting a new bed put on the back of it, and then also getting the suspension all worked out. So I want to say hi to a few people here real quick. So let's see, we got Lady Alex in the house. We got Dawn. Hello, back at you. Luke, how's it going? Sawed off. What's up, man? They allow pets. Awesome. Yeah, that's what. Divine Mojo, how's it going? Yeah, she definitely loves the chickens. Thanks, Sky. Yeah, she loves the way you look. Oh, thanks. I'm having fun out here. This place is great. And we'll talk about Meadow, and then we'll go outside and do like a tour, because like literally, if we flip around here, this is the bedroom area. The National Forest is right there, and the hiking trail is right there for the Eldon trails around here. And this is their garden of where they grow all their food in the back area there. And then looking this way, this is looking into the chicken coop. Hey, what's up, Sheila? How's it going? So there's looking at the chicken coop. That's where Meadow is just like so enthralled with what's going on. They're all up in their little roosting area right now. But that's what Meadow's been looking at. And then here, once again, here's like the kitchen area, kind of breakfast nook area. And then Meadow bumping into stuff with her cone. And then the bathroom is back over here. And nice spacious bathroom. I just love it here because it's real, just mellow, and Steve and Marnie are super cool and just like the nicest people. And so anyway, so that's that we're staying here because I didn't want to stay in a stuffy hotel, especially with Meadow. You know, she's still kind of anxious around people she doesn't know. And I figured in a hotel that might be kind of a difficult thing for her to, you know, to settle down, and I want her to be able to sleep at night and stuff like that. And so when I found this online, I thought, you know, why don't I make this trip up here while we're getting our truck fixed into like a little bit of a vacation, you know? So let's see, John. Oh, thanks, John. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Great place to stay. Yeah, Paul, this place is really cool. And Skyman, that's right. She does love our afternoon walks. We've probably been on about 5 walks today, but I'm not going too far because I don't want her paw, you know, like the pads on her feet, because right now there's still stitches in it. And so You know, she could get those snagged on rocks or, you know, a root or something like that, and it could pull it out. What you thinking, sweetie? She wants to go out and see the chickens real bad. So, so I haven't been taking on super long walks, and there is something that's really cool above here. So there's a lookout tower on top of Mount Eldon, and this is in Flagstaff, and so it's a really cool lookout tower. It's not in use anymore, but you can hike up to it and check it out and everything. And so once she gets feeling better, and her paw, you know, her pads are like 100% dialed in. Meadow, stop! I don't want you knocking that over. She has a hard time understanding that like her cone pushes stuff over, so she was probably push over the microwave stand. There's a Forest Service lookout tower at the top of the trail back here, which is cool because, you know, I want to build the Forest Service lookout tower at my place. And so once Meadow's paw is healed, we're going to head up there. You know, so it'll probably be, I don't know, a couple more weeks, maybe a month or something like that before we can do that. So let's see, what else have we got here? We have JR in the house. I'm just getting a new pickup bed. See, Mobile Tech, what's going on? The dreaded Kona shape. You know, honestly, I put it on her because she was kind of acting up a little bit. I put it on her, it mellows her out. She's totally conked out. So instead of this, I was dealing with without the cone of shame on, just jumping up and down and wanting to go outside and being all crazy and stuff. I'm like, we need to take it down a notch because it's all I've been doing all day is just like, you know, kind of running after her and stuff. But all right, let's see what else we got here. We got Jason Hesterwitz in the house. Jason Hester, what's going on, man? What's up, Brian? Give Meadow a hug. Oh, cool. Brucey Dog and Marlon say hello. I like a hello. Let's see. Mia Dukes, how's it going? William Rand, I must have missed the news. What happened, Meadow? So what happened was she stepped on my hedge clippers when she basically walked up behind me, and I put them on the ground because I was moving debris after I trimmed out a bunch of bushes, and she stepped right on it because she came up behind me and was like surprising me. And when she put her hand down, it's like literally if this was the hedge trimmers, it went right on it. I mean, it couldn't have gone here or there, right on the hedge trimmers. And immediately she recoiled, and when she went back like this, there was so much blood because that's such a soft tissue. It's a soft tissue area with a lot of blood in it. And man, it bled like crazy. I wrapped her hand or her paw in the t-shirt that I was wearing. I had a white t-shirt on, and I wrapped it in that to make sure that, you know, it wouldn't bleed anymore. Then I put ice around it because like literally half of her pad was like hanging off. I'm like, dang, if that thing, you know, gets any more damage to it, it's gonna fall off. So I put ice around her hand too to kind of help with swelling and inflammation. And then I put a towel around it. And with all that, she still bled through those layers. And I thought, how much, you know, dogs don't have that much blood. And to go through that much, you know, material and have the blood, and then it was all over her bed. And then we got into the vet clinic, to the animal hospital. We went to Aspen Veterinary Hospital here in Flagstaff. And so they took the band, you know, the towel and the t-shirt off her, and then she was walking on the floor, and it was just paw print of blood after paw print of blood. And so it was real deep. And they even said too, when I called them on the phone, they're like, usually stuff like that, you know, there's like a little glue stuff that you can do, and it kind of glues it back together, and it's like a medical glue, and they use that on those things. But when we went in there, they're like, oh no, she needs surgery. So immediately dropped her off, and she spent about 3 hours at the facility. The surgery wasn't that long, but when they conk them out, they want to make sure that, you know, when they wake up that everything's okay, and that they didn't have any reaction to the medication or anything like that they gave them to knock them out. And so I picked her back up after lunch, and then we went back to my place, and she was pretty subdued the first couple days. I mean, I think that with being knocked out, you know, when dogs don't really go under anesthesia very often, and so when that happens, I think it has an effect on them, you know, for, you know, a day or two afterwards. And so, see, Mobile Tech, do I have pet insurance? No, but I think I'll be getting it. Let's see, it has rained out there lately, Paul. Yeah, it's been raining. It rained actually last Saturday, when work less, enjoy life more. My friend Larry, when he was out visiting, and we rolled into town and grabbed some food at the pizza joint for his birthday. We weren't scheduled for rain, and it dumped. I mean, it was a deluge of rain coming down. We rolled into Sligman, and it was just like the storm on the way there. We're like, dang, dude, this came out of nowhere. So John, I know you've been watching quietly since Sierra. Sierra was so much fun, man. I was talking to Steve about that, one of the owners here, just earlier. I was like, man, I wish you could have met Sierra. She was so much fun to hang out with, and just just the best dog. I mean, you talk about a people person and a dog. She was it. I've never met a dog, and I met a lot of dogs. I've never met a dog who was as people oriented and as happy to see everybody on the planet as Sierra was. That was such a joy to have her with me, and I just miss her like crazy. So, but let's go ahead, and I want to show you what's going on with her paw here. So this is the paw that was damaged. It's the right one here. Let's do this. Let's roll you over. I'm gonna give you a petting on the stomach. Can I pet your tummy? Will you let me see your paw? Let me see your. Can I see your paw? You want a little treat? I say that's the T word, and she's on it. So we're gonna do it like this. And I was gonna show you. So she's still got a lot of stitches. So you can see all the stitches that she has there, that are they're the pink things that you see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like maybe about 7 or 8 stitches. I don't know how many more there are that I can't see, because I know they had to go in between, in between the pads and stuff. But I mean, it was gnarly when she pulled her hand back and when she recoiled, and I saw the blood, and then I saw how mangled her paw was. I was like, oh no. I mean, it was a split second. It happened, and I felt so bad. I was like, what am I doing putting my clippers on the ground? Having her running around, but I didn't think she was near me. She came up from behind, and I had my headphones on, and I was listening to a podcast, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. We had been out playing, since like 6 a.m. And when I went over to go trim these hedges, she was chilling underneath the truck, just kind of taking a nap, because we had played so hard for like the first hour. She was just running around the property like crazy. But then I think that maybe she woke up while I went over to go trim this one area, and that's when she came up from behind. And I mean, it was just, like I said, I felt horrible. So I just, threw in the truck as quickly as I could, and we were off. So, no, Lady Alex, what I'm doing is I'm giving it an opportunity to breathe the wounds. They told me at the vet place, they said, hey, if you go outside, put a sock on it or something. And I do have a sock. It's actually, and I've got a little finger on the top of it that secures her sock. I don't know where it's at. It's right here. And so I've got the type of wrapping that sticks onto itself, and then a sock, and so that helps to protect it. It looks like everything's pretty much closed up, but there's still a chance, like I was saying, that if we're walking along outside and she accidentally hits like a tree root or something like that that's sticking up out of the ground, it could snag those suit, or what am I trying to say? The stitches. I was like, I can't think of that word. So it's like, but she is going to get her stitches taken out next week. And so I'm going to be a little bit longer of the cone of shame. And I'm kind of liking the subdued nature, so I can get stuff done on my computer and stuff. I did get my computer back, by the way. So check it out. It's right there. And so I'm pretty pleased to have that back. For the last 4 weeks, this has been in the shop for three weeks of it. So that's why I've been doing videos on my phone, and they haven't been looking all that sharp, because the editing on my phone is, pretty inferior compared to what I can do on my computer. But I wanted to show you real quick what the Tacoma looks like at the moment. Check this out. Oh, rats. Check this out. The bed is gone on the Tacoma right there. Got my old Save Trestles bumper sticker on the back of my truck from when I used to live in San Clemente, California, and surf trestles every day. And then here's also what it looks like when they were taking the bed off. And then there's one more picture here. And that's the new bed that's going on. So, and then after that's all done, then I'll be getting that Tune M1 camper. And I'm really excited for that, man. When I get that, I mean, Meadow and I are gonna hit the road, and we're gonna have some fun. Because I love being at my place, but I've realized that that being at my place, there's always so much to do that I kind of feel like I have to be busy all the time. And the one thing I loved about living on the road is that you don't have that same feeling. You just kind of, it's a pretty basic life, because you wake up in the morning, you let's see here. Let me hang on a second. I can't do two things at once. I'm a guy. Sorry about this. All right, there we go. The thing about living in your truck is that you only have a few things to do during the day. You get up in the morning, make breakfast, you find the trails you want to hit or where you want to go fly fish, and then you find a cool campsite at night and you go kick it by the campfire, go to bed. That's a pretty easy life. And at my place, I've got so much to do, and I've been enjoying doing it, but I kind of want to break from it a little bit, just because each day working on the swales or digging irrigation ditches or clearing debris or clearing cactus. I've been clearing lots of cactus lately, and then also too keeping an eye on Meadow while we're at the property. It's kind of hard. I want to give her an opportunity to run around, but I also don't want her to go run off. And then there's mountain lions in my area, and they ambush animals by waiting in trees and stuff like that. So, yeah, Luke, I used to work, or I used to live in Southern California. I worked for an internet company out there, and I lived on the beach in San Clemente, and that was back in, let's see, 2000. When did I move down there? See, I moved to Redondo Beach in 2003, and then I moved to Costa Mesa in 2006. And then after a year or 2 years after being in Costa Mesa, I moved to San Clemente. And I loved San Clemente. Like, if California wasn't so expensive, that's one town that I would live in, because the beach vibe there was really cool. I lived at North 204s. 204s is called a surf break. It's the name of a surf break. And it's on North Beach in San Clemente. But I'd walk all the way down to either the pier or I go to Uppers at Trestles because I'm goofy footed. And on the pier, you have waves that peel off both waves because the pier breaks up the waves. So they peel off both right and left. Well, if you're on the beach and you're looking at the water, I was always the guy going to your right. I was going to my left because I stand up and I put my right foot forward instead of my left foot forward. Most everybody puts their left foot forward. So there's a great wave at Trestles called Uppers, and it's the one that peels off for the goofy foot, and then uppers, middles, and lowers, or no, middles and lowers are the ones for like that are in all the surf competitions. And I don't go into those because there'd be like 100 people in the lineup, and here I am catching wave after wave after wave after wave on the wave that the people don't surf. So I loved it. And the waves down in Orange County are incredible. And we also go down to La Jolla. We go surf Black's Beach a bunch. Surfed Oceanside. Surfed the Del Mar River jetties. I got on the base and the base in San Clemente, and was at Camp Pendleton out there. And DMJs, the Del Mar River jetties are insanely good surf, and there is no one there because no one can get on the base. My neighbor happened to be pretty high up in the Marines. So he's like, yeah, if you want to go surf, because I taught him how to surf. He's like, dude, thanks for teaching me how to surf. And I gave him one of my surfboards that I didn't want anymore. He's like, oh, thanks so much. He thought it was like this huge deal. He's like, I'm going to get you a civilian pass so you can get on the base and go surf all the breaks on the base. I'm like, all right, that sounds cool. Man, I used to go down there all the time, and you would never see anybody. But the craziest thing was, as you would look down to the south, and they'd be doing these military drills with hovercrafts landing on the beach, and I'm out there and surf. Or no, I was to the north because Del Mar River Jetty is at the south part. But the north part of the beach, they'd be rolling in with these massive hovercrafts and stuff. And I'm like, I feel like I'm in Platoon. Like I'm out here surfing, and they're coming in with these crazy exercises with these machines that are like floating cities and stuff like that. It was crazy. So people were asking about why I'm getting a new truck bed. The truck bed cracked. So what would happen with that is with the new camper put on it, it'd push the rails out on the side, and it wouldn't line up right. So I had to get a new bed. But let me hang on one second. I got to respond to my buddy Tyler real quick. Tyler Hughes from the Toyota dealership here. He's one of my good buddies. He's asking me for a video, and I'll send it to him after this live stream. So hang on one second. Sure thing. I'll send this to you. All right, cool. Let's see. Submit a question here for the camper, but what flatbed brand is my question? I'm not getting a flatbed. I'm just getting a regular bed. So why I need, let's see. Okay, yeah. Luke, yeah, San Clemente is producing the best service in the world. Dude, I tell you what, when I was there, the Groms that were surfing, these kids were doing stuff. They were doing like 360s no-handed. These guys weren't, I don't even think these kids were 10 years old. I was looking at that, I was like, there's no way I'll ever be able to do it. Like I could do headstands on my board and all that stuff. And I'd also, I could surf both ways, even though I wasn't that good surfing regular. I was more goofy footed. But the headstands are fun. I used to do that. When I go to Hawaii and go surf over there, I do headstands on my board, and everyone's like, "Look at the white boy doing headstands. Thinks he's hot stuff." It was fun, and I can tell you, out of all the sports I've ever done in my life, I mean, the only drawback to living on the beach is you got to drive away to get to the mountains. You know, unless you live in like a incredible area. But in Southern California, you got to drive a little ways to get in the mountains. But that's the most mellow, probably calming sport I've ever done, because you can get in the water in the worst mood, you know, and you can have like the worst day, or be starting out like you roll out of bed in the worst mood on the planet, and you go sit and bob up and down in the water for 2 hours and catch waves, and you come in from that, and you step back on the beach, and you are the most chill person on the planet, and it happens to everybody. Like everybody I talked to that surfs said the exact same thing. And when I left California, I dreamt about surfing for about 2 years straight, almost every single night. And look forward to getting back out there, because my friends are still in Orange County. One, my buddy Casey still has my old surfboard. He's held on to it forever, and I'm really thankful for that. But he's like, "Yeah, man, you got to come out here. We'll go surf again, just like Days of Old." I'm like, "I don't know, man. I'm out of shape. I'm not, Days of Old. I don't know if we can do it like that, like we used to, because we used to go out and charge it all day long." So that was fun. But I always loved living on the beach, and Orange County was pretty cool. When I was up in Redondo, it was okay, but they get sheltered from the Channel Islands, and then also from Catalina, so the swells don't hit those areas very well. So you deserve a vacation. Yeah, this is kind of like the vacation that I'm doing up here, being in the. Oh, let's go outside. I want to show you guys what this place looks like. It's so cool. But this was my vacation, coming up here and just kind of kicking it, because I wanted to stay in a nice place. So let's go outside. I want to show you what this is. Oh, and before we do that, I want to do on the computer here. I want to show you. Let's see here. I want to go ahead, and I'm going to type in. This is the website address right here for the Eldon Trails Bed and Breakfast. And I told Steve and Marnie, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna mention this on my live stream." They're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, we'd love it." And they're the coolest people. So, all right, let's go outside. We're gonna show you what the patio looks like here. Hey, that's awesome, Lazarus. Yeah, the pizza joint is insane. And what they did was, when they bought that place, when my friends Lisa and Todd bought that place. Oh, and by the way, they're doing a Route 66 pinup calendar contest there on Sunday, and I guess a lot of people come out and they dress like 50s style and stuff like that, and they have a bunch of old classic cars. So that's happening on Sunday at the pizza joint. And then if you catch, if you, I don't know if you guys follow Work Less, Enjoy Life More, but Larry's video that he put up, let's see, what's today? Wednesday. I think it was yesterday. He put up yesterday. About halfway through, it shows us hanging out at the pizza joint. He did a really great job capturing the footage in there. It's like a typical American, like, like old school bar with like an old school diner, or old school pizza set up inside. It's really, really awesome. So that's where we're going to have the Overland meetup, coming up here in the end of October. But here's the grounds here. So let me back up a little bit, and I'll kind of show you what we're looking at. So you come in from over there, and then you've got a patio area where they serve you breakfast. So they make you an awesome breakfast, and you get to eat breakfast right there. And then if it's cold out, they've got a little area where you can have a fire in that little adobe thing. Over here, they've got a little pond, and it's got a really nice relaxing water sound with this little thing coming down here. And then what I planning to do this evening is I'm planning to come out here with a book and sit here and kind of hang out and just kind of just read and just enjoy the evening. Because if you look up here, we've got tons of really awesome ponderosa pines, these massive, massive trees. And what's nice about that is for the entire day, like I'm in here all day working and stuff. Look how cute she is. I'm in here working and stuff like that, and I didn't have to turn on the air conditioner once. And they actually have a swamp cooler because it just doesn't get that hot here because it's in shade all day, which is cool. And then if you come back here to the back side of the property, you've got a separate door for the bedroom area. So if you want to come out, and use that instead, and then the bedroom area is pretty nice in there. But back here is where you can access the trails. And so come right here, we've got all their gardens that they use to grow their food. So Steve and Marnie grow their food, and then they incorporate that into the food they serve you. And the hiking trail starts right there. And so you hike on back up, and then the Forest Service lookout tower is back up over there, and that's Mount Eldon back in here. And then I mean, I just love it. It's a great area. It's a really quaint little place to stay. It's affordable. You know, it's not expensive. Compared to hotels out here right now, is this is kind of the last of the peak season, so they're trying to get all the money they can. And when I looked at it online, I thought, why don't I just pay like a couple bucks more and get a place like this instead of staying in a hotel room? You know, it makes much more sense for me, and I'm much more comfortable in an environment like this. And then what's fun too is, like I was saying, Meadow's been sitting out here checking out the chickens. She will literally just sit right here and just stare at the chicken coop and just be like, "What are y'all up to?" So she's cracking me up. But we'll come over this way, and then I'll show you kind of the way in, and then we'll walk back into the area. But you can see all the landscaping they've done here. They did an excellent job. I mean, this place is so homey. Yeah, Doreen. So the price per night, uh, it was one. So I went through Expedia. But if you're gonna do it, just call them directly and go through them, because I didn't realize Expedia took so much money. But Expedia was charging $150 a night. So, and then I paid for a pet fee with Meadow, which was 20 bucks. And then here is the rest of the patio area, and then your entrance is right here. So you can park on the street, come in right here, come in. You've got a nice little area. This is the little fireplace I was telling you about, just in case it's cold out and you want to hang out outside. And it's just really peaceful in here. It's just beautiful. And they've done such an excellent job just landscaping this place and making it really cool. And yeah, during this, that's what I thought too. I thought for a 400 square foot cabin, or like, this, so here's how it looks. Let's see if we can back. I'll go walk over here. You guys can get the full view of it. We'll go over by the chicken coop here. But for that price, I mean, I was floored. To be honest, I thought this would be a lot more. But so this is your room. You got two entrances. Like I said, you got the big old living room area, and then you got a couch in there too. I think the couch can probably accommodate somebody to sleep as well. And then the room back here has a queen size bed, super comfy. Great windows in there, so you got good ventilation. And then in the event that you do need, a little bit of cooling, then they have a swamp cooler in here. I turned it on last night and got cold, so I went ahead and turned it off. So can't even get a tent rental for that. Yeah, no kidding. So look out there, Meadow. Look out there, sweet. Okay. She doesn't realize her cone of shame is not allowing me to come in the front door. But I was looking through campsites just like the other day, just kind of entertain myself for when we get back on the road. And if there's some areas where I don't know where to go for dispersed camping, and I want to, yeah, Josh. Hey, what's up, Josh? How's it going, man? They do have the Berkey water filter, and they got a bunch of other cool stuff too. This place is just awesome. But I was looking at campsites. I'm like, well, maybe if we have to stay in a campsite every once in a while, then I can do that. And the prices for campsites are insane, like 35 bucks and stuff like that. I'm like, no way, I'm not going to pay that. I'm just going to disperse camp. Lady Alex, yeah, this is the only cabin here. So what's nice about that is, I've had an opportunity to talk with Steve and Marty. They're the nicest people. And I think that just enhances staying here so much, because it's a cool spot. They're retired. They love hosting people here. Steve has some really neat stories. He used to live in the Yukon and lived, I don't know if this is, I can't remember exactly what he said. I think he said that he used a dog sled to get to his place, and he's got it hanging in the garage back there. So he's like, yeah, that dog sled back there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I used to live in the Yukon, Alaska, off-grid in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, and I used that to get to my place. I'm like, whoa. So that's pretty cool. No, it doesn't seem like they're usually booked up. I mean, I think there's probably some times of the year that are better than others. And they do get a little bit of the international crowd that comes to the Grand Canyon area because they're on Expedia and stuff like that. But here in Flagstaff, they said they have some return customers and things like that. But I don't think it's like slammed. I contacted them on a Monday night and made the reservations for Tuesday through Friday, and they were available. So yeah, Amy. So Amy, I'll be here until Friday, and then I'll have my truck done, and then I can cruise back to the property. And then I was talking with Larry again, like I was saying, from Work Less, Enjoy Life More, and his sister is actually going to be in the pinup contest for the Route 66. Like, I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a hot rod gathering. So all these people bring their cool cars down there and all that stuff. and then they do a pinup contest. So his sister's going to be in it, and so I told him, I'm like, well, just come up and camp my place again. So we may do a live stream together or something like that, maybe Saturday night or Sunday night, and just kind of kick it. He's a cool dude. I like hanging out with him. He's super easy to hang out with and get along with. So it's fun making friends like that. And that little that little geo tracker with the camper on the back is like crazy. So race banning. Schnauzy crib, yeah, dude, that's nice out here. See William, yeah, I've still got the other truck. I'm dropping it off at the dealership to have my buddy Tyler Hughes work on it. Have him and his team work on it while I go to Colorado to pick up my camper for my truck. So let's see, Sally's. Oh, so what happened was for those that are just now turning in or just now tuning in, I wanted to let you know that what happened with Meadow was. So I was out using hedge trimmers to trim the bushes at my property because I'm clearing some more area to put in raised garden beds. And so there's a feature on this trimmer to where you don't want to constantly hold the handle because it makes your finger tired. So you can lock it into place and it just stays on. So that way you can kind of trim the bushes and go back and forth and all that stuff. So I was on the ground and I was trimming these branches that were real close to the ground and I'm just trying to get them out of there and stuff. And so once I trimmed them, I set it down for a second and went to move the debris out of the way because if you don't do that, the debris gets caught up in the trimmer and it makes it less effective when it's cutting stuff. So anyway, so I moved it out of the. I set it to the side, moved the debris out of the way. I was going back over to grab it, and Meadow came running up from behind, and her hand went down. And let's say this was the trimmers going back and forth. Her hand went right on it, and I was like, oh no! And she immediately recoiled, and her hand. I mean, her paw. What happened was there were two pads that were hit pretty hard, and the amount of blood coming out of him. It wasn't like it was like trickling out; it was streaming out. And I'm like, okay, this is serious. And I called the vet immediately. Well, I didn't call the vet immediately. I immediately grabbed her and threw her in the truck, and then I called the vet. Said, hey, we're on our way. This is what happened. And when we got there, the office the vet said, we thought initially when you called like it would probably be one of those things where we just seal it up with like there's like a type of medical glue. It's kind of like a super glue they use for the pads when they have like a cut that's not too deep. She's like, that's not the case here. She definitely needs surgery. And I was like, okay. And so it was about 3 hours, I guess, that she was there. I went and picked her up after about 1 p.m. after I dropped her off in the morning. And she lost a lot of blood, but I mean, she's rallied like crazy. The first couple of days she was kind of subdued, and now she's back to running around like crazy. So I'm trying to keep her, not that active because I don't want to have those stitches rip out until they get removed. So let's see. Oh, cool, Barbara. I didn't know about the golf course on Pendleton. Yeah, I bet that would be interesting to play a round of golf with heavy weapons going off in the distance. I always remember hearing that thunder, when they do like the range, the bombing range or whatever it is, shooting range, and they'd be shooting those big artillery shells, and you'd hear them way off in the distance. So, see, Amy, yeah, so yeah, well, work less, enjoy life more was just in my place last weekend, and like I said, he's probably going to come back this weekend too, since his sister's in that deal. So. Really good for it. Yeah, mobile tech. I've got that too. So and I actually brought one of the kits with me. I brought a smaller one. I've got a real big backpack that I got. I can't remember who I got it from, but it's a real good one. And then I brought another trauma kit. This is a smaller one that I put in my truck. And then I've got the bigger one back at my place in in the camper. But it's okay, Funky. Come over here and lay down. Come here. There you go. Good girl. But I'm gonna put that in the truck when we go to Colorado and get the camper. And then so I'm gonna be in Denver. I don't know how long I'm gonna be there. Um, I've got some friends that I'm trying to connect with a little bit, but I haven't seen them in a long time, and I don't know if we'll be able to get together. So it'll kind of depend on their schedules. And if I can't get together with them, it's no big deal. We can always try to connect at a different time. But I do want to spend a lot of time fishing, and so there's just so many spots that I love fishing out there. And latter part of or middle to latter part of September, it's kind of nice because there's some areas I know of. There's this one area I know of where I'm going to try to get on film black bears hand fishing for brown trout. There's a place I know of that right before the snow hits there, the latter part of September, you can go to this one river on this one section, and the black bears will literally be out there in mass, and they're just gorging on these huge brown trout. So if I can get that on film, that's gonna be like Nat Geo stuff. It's like it's cool to see it because you're like, am I in Alaska? Like, I thought I was in Colorado. But I want to fish those spots. I want to see some friends of mine that are in some of the southern Colorado mountain communities. I've talked to Barron and Elsa, and I'm going to go by and see Barron. We're going to try to go out and go fish. And so I'm excited to get out there and kind of hit some spots. And then after the crowds have left, it should be nice. Be cool to go do that. So I'll be sure to share the footage. And I'm taking my Starlink with me. So that way, I'll be able to show you guys. I'll upload videos from the road and also from camp and stuff like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. So Laura Lee, Brian, really love your videos. Really love it. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I love doing this. I mean, it was kind of the only drawback to it is the censorship nowadays. You always just wonder like, oh, am I going to get hit? And I've already been hit once, and it's really disheartening when that happens. But overall, I can say like, it's a blessing to be able to do this for work because I couldn't go back into the corporate world after what happened, with all the fallout that I had and then getting addicted to prescription pills because I was addicted to Xanax and Klonopin. And, and what's so odd about that is I always prided myself on being like in control, you know. But once the stress got too much and I took one of those pills once, I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to not really care about anything. This is nice. Because I'd always worry about stuff, and that's probably a reason why, not to toot my own horn, but that's probably the reason why I was successful in the corporate world is because I was so scared to fail, and same with doing YouTube. I mean, that's why I worked for so hard for so many years on the road. I lived in my truck for 7.5 years, cranking out videos, saving money so I could buy my own place. I mean, that's a wild plan. That's not everybody can do that, and I wouldn't advise everybody to do it either. It's not easy. And when I got sick, and then when Sierra got cancer, I was like, okay, it's time to get off the road. But now, I'm really excited to get back out again and battling. Yeah, I have so much more of a better life than the corporate world, and I kind of wake up in the morning. I'm like, is this a dream? Because I always thought when I was in the corporate world, I was like, I was meant to do something more than just take orders from somebody who all I'm doing is making them money. Because I was in sales. And when I first started out in sales, I really loved it because I worked with a bunch of local companies. I worked in the real estate industry, so I did like online sales. I worked for a sister company of Realtor.com. And so let's see, Mike, right here, right? Oh yeah, Mike, everything's going good with Meadow. She's doing better. But so I worked for them, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. But I I noticed that um, once the local companies started to get gobbled up by these publicly traded companies, good luck getting paid. Like, and especially you'll never get paid on time ever. Like, I remember, so I had two stints in Denver with the corporate world. The first one was from 1998 to 2003, and it was great. And I had a bunch of friends that were actually, my my customers, and they're friends, and we'd go hang out all the time. It was fun. And then it got just totally, annihilated when the big corporate companies came in. Because the first thing they did is they come in, they clean house, they get everybody out of there. Well, everybody that was like, I had a really good relationship with the CFOs or the accounting people, whoever was in charge of paying the bills. So I would always get paid on time. As soon as the national companies took over, never got paid on time. And then you call them up and say, hey, where's my payment? Hey, we'll get your prepayment to you next week. I'm like, it's not a prepayment if it's 2 months late. Like, how come you can't figure out? And I started saying this to people because I finally got fed up. And then it was kind of funny because I don't think these people knew it, but I was on an email string with a bunch of builders, and I was going through and I was having a tough time. On paper, it said I had $66,000 in the bank, but I had been broke for 3 days and I hadn't eaten in 3 days because I had a list of receivables that was like 10 pages long, And some of it was as old as like 6 months old. And these companies are still calling, hey, yeah, we need service this week. I'm like, why haven't you paid me yet? So I started going nuclear on people. I'm like, until you get smarter to figure out how to pay me, I'm not staffing your stuff. And I'd say stuff like that to them. And I went off on some of the people. There was this gal that worked for Century Communities, and she was the president of them. And they had just went public, and they thought they were such hot stuff. And they couldn't ever figure out how to pay an invoice. And after racking up I'd paid out of pocket about $20,000 in payroll, paid the payroll tax, paid the insurance, and here I am waiting to get paid from a publicly traded company that just went public and has $400 million of cash on hand, and they can't figure out how to pay my $40,000 in bills. And here I am, a small guy. I'm not their bank, And they would look at me like I was arrogant. So I got copied on this email, and I don't think they knew it. But they're like, I can't believe Brian's still in business with the way he talks to us about our bills. And I'm like thinking, you have no clue what it's like to be in this position because you've always worked for someone else. Okay, until the onus is on you. I had a $10,000 a week payroll. Okay, you don't pay me for 5 or 6 months. That's gonna hurt, you know. And so this lady, I walked into their office, and I walked up to the front desk, and I said, I've been getting the runaround from your company, and I told this to the receptionist. I go, look, you're not in charge of this, so don't take this personally. But your company, Century Communities, has been promising me payment now for months and months and months. So I'm not. So if I walk out of here without a payment, the next person who walks in is my lawyer, and he is a 5'3" Jewish guy from New York. You want to mess with him? And I was like, he will tear you guys a new one. So she goes, well, let me call the CFO. I go, no, call the president. And so she called the president on the intercom, and I said, and she like walked up. She's like, hi, I'm someone in her office in the reception, like the entry, where everybody sits, like when you come into it. And my friend was vice president of sales for the company at the time, and he was around the corner. And he told me that he and all of his friends were laughing like crazy. They're like, that she needed to hear that so bad. He goes, you ripped her so hard. And he goes, every single time she tried to say something, you cut her off and you just bust out. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. And there were so many times they would call me. There was one time I was in Utah. They called me, they said, hey, we need you to come back because we got your payment, and they owe me it was like $40,000 at the time. Like, hey, we got your payment, and then and also we want to talk to you about some new projects. So I leave Moab. I'm having a ball out there with Sierra. I leave Moab. I drive back. I get there. We talk about the new projects. And I go, where's my check? Oh, we forgot to cut that check. We'll get that to you next week. And I told them, I said, I was this close to being arrested for assault because I'm like, I drove 8 hours to come back here for this meeting, and you told me that you would pay me, that you get caught up on everything, and yet here you are screwing me over again. That happened time and time and time again. I started tracking from when it was a local company. I got paid about 87% on time. After all my clients have basically been gobbled up, except for like 2 of them, all of them were purchased by these national companies. From that point on, I was only paid on time 9 weeks out of 254 weeks. And corporate America is the problem for it. It's all this crap of money over people. They look at me as a vendor. Then there's plenty of other sign companies out there. We just won't pay them. We'll just run them along. And I had a Richmond American Homes, which is MDC Holdings. They called me up and, oh, we'd love to work with you. We hear you're great, because I always had like the best team. And they were like, yeah, we want to do about $60,000 a month in business with you. And I said, okay, well, that'll require a $180,000 down payment. And they said, what? And I said, it's going to be a $180,000 down payment. I need 3 months in advance, because what you guys do, and I know it because all my friends have worked with you, is you string people out and you say, we're not going to pay you for 60 days. And then after the first 60 days, you start looking at invoices and you always make up excuses to delay payment. And I said, I'm not in the business to get screwed over by people. And I know who you people are. I said, if you want my people out there, you get $180,000 to me, and then we can talk. Until then, kiss off. Because I didn't want to work for them. And so I made it a point to kind of be aggressive to them. And what's funny about that is they respected me for that. And they kept calling back, and I said, no, I'm not doing it. They're like, well, would you do it for 25 grand? I said, no, I wouldn't do it. They're like, you're one of the hardest guys to work with. I said, no, I'm not. I'm one of the most honest guys and most straightforward guys to work with. Know the difference. I'm not hard to work with. As long as you meet the terms that I have in there, keep in mind, you're calling me. I'm not calling you. I didn't call you for business. You're calling me. And Doreen, that's actually what I did. The day I decided to shut down my business, I went around to every single client that had screwed me over, and I read them the riot act, and I was not kind about it. And the reason why I did that was because I had been living in my truck by that point for about 6 months. And I realized, I'm like, there's this whole other life out there that doesn't have to deal with this corporate crap and these arrogant CFOs who all it is to them is just the numbers. They don't think about, the person behind the numbers. They think, well, we need to put off, publicly traded companies are notorious for the last quarter of the year of putting off their invoices and leaving them till next quarter so that they can show a lot of cash on hand at the end of the year. They all do that. And so once that started happening in the builder industry, good luck getting paid from September to December. It's not possible. You won't get paid. Especially in December, you won't get paid from any of those corporate companies. But they want service. I had a guy one time threatened me. He said, this is for Oakwood Homes. This guy's name was Rhett, I think his name, Rhett. He thought he was a big shot, one of those guys, young guy, but he'd like shave his head and, wear all these like fancy clothes and drive a big old BMW, thought he was hot shit. And he calls me up one day and, yeah, I need more people out. I said, well, I need you to pay. He goes, what's going on? And I said, well, it sounds like you don't know. So, I know that's not your department. Your wheelhouse is marketing, not accounting. But accounting's been blowing me off. They've been telling me they have a check ready every Friday. I show up, it's never ready. I said that's been going on for 2 months. And I said, until I get paid, I'm not doing service for you. And you know what he said to me? Instead of saying, hey, sorry, man, we'll get that squared away. He goes, if you don't staff my projects this weekend, that's not going to be good for you. And he said it like he was going to try to kick my ass. I just laughed. I thought, okay. And so came the weekend, I didn't staff his stuff. So all of his people were calling me, all the on-site salespeople, because they all knew me because I was out there every weekend, checking out on stuff. And I was friends with all these people. But they called me, hey, where are our people this weekend? I said, hey, Rhett told me that if I didn't have people come out this weekend, he threatened me that it wasn't going to be good for me. And you guys are 2 months behind. And I said, I told him I wasn't going to send out people until you guys pay me. I'm not going to work for free. And I'm certainly not going to front your payroll for the marketing services that you want from my company when you called me. So that's what it is. I guess that sales meeting that next on that Monday, and was just like all the salespeople went off on Red, and I was glad because I'm like, dude, you're so arrogant. I mean, to sit there and threaten me when you owe me like I think they owe me like 20 grand at the time, which to them is a drop in the bucket. Heck, they make more, they make plenty more than that on each home they sell, and just they were selling like 1,000 homes a year, so they're making plenty of money. What it was is like these companies, I feel like they get too big and they start making a lot of money and they think they can just blow off stuff. Ah, don't worry, just call somebody else. We get somebody else in the Rolodex, and don't worry about that vendor, no big deal. Well, after a while, you run out of people because you piss everybody else in the market and they won't work with you anymore. Like Century Communities, I don't know how they're still working in Denver because every single subcontractor there thinks they're a total joke, and they're like, I will never work with them. I know companies that went under because they hide Meadow. The Century Communities would hijack people like these small subcontractors, like tile people and stuff like that. They'd rack up so much bills with them and then not pay. Those people would go out of business. Like, who does that? You know? And there's a reason why corporate America has a horrible stigma to it, and it's not because they just it's just this whole profits over people when it comes to anything. It's just pathetic. And so that's why I'm so glad that I got out of that because I felt like I was 40, I was making good money. It wasn't like I was having like, well, on paper I was making good money if I could get paid. So when I did get paid, it was nice, but it was just always just this fight to get paid. But it's like I started thinking, I'm like, if I don't make a switch now and make a total jump out of this, what's going to happen is I'm going to toil away for the next decade, just get more frustrated with life and all that stuff. And the only thing that'll be different is I'll just be older. I'll just be dealing with the same problems. I'm like, I don't want this anymore. And when I left Denver, it's kind of interesting because I left Denver and I don't know what happened. Maybe I didn't have that good of friends there or something like that. But the people that I hung out with a lot at the time, I tried to stay in touch with them. I left, and they just wouldn't. They wouldn't respond. And I wonder if they thought like I abandoned the area or whatever, or abandoned them or something. I don't know. I could never make sense of it, and I never got an answer as to why. There was a couple people I used to hang out with them all the time. As soon as I hit the road, I used to come back every weekend because I had that sign company before after 6 months, told that sign company to take a hike or told that business to take a hike. And I'd message them when I come back. They never respond. I was like, okay. But I did notice too that, I was the single guy and they were married and their kids were growing up. So they're really involved with kids stuff, which I'm glad they are. I think that's important. And they would all get together and they would all do, they'd do hangouts because they'd have kids, but they wouldn't invite me. And um, so I thought that was kind of weird. But then after my channel got big, I heard from them again, and they're all, "Oh, hey man, we've been missing you on here." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. You didn't ever return my phone call, so I'm not gonna respond to that." So, but I've got a bunch of new friends now, which are awesome. I love my friends. I'm all my friends on YouTube and all that stuff, and also the friends that I met through the channel. I mean, like, there's been a lot of people that I met through the channel that are great, and so. Yeah, Steel Mill, I agree with you there. And Doreen, 100%. Yeah, they just weren't true friends. Let's see. I want to go through some of the stuff here and see what we've got. Oh, Dave said I've actually literally been threatened and cornered by a supervisor at a union company. That was a mistake. They lost a ton of money. I hope you got paid, brother. Let's see. These companies have gotten too big to care about people. Yeah, I totally agree, Doreen. So it's crazy. So Paul Vang, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? Hey man, I started playing Call of Duty on mobile on the phone here. So just like days old. So Dave, same here with the friend thing. Yeah, I was kind of crazy about that. I thought, well, and then I asked him one time. I said, "Hey, how come you guys don't invite me to get-togethers?" They're like, "Well, you don't have kids. It'd be boring for you." I'm like, "I like your kids. Like we all like whenever I come over and hang out, everything's fine." But that was their reasoning, and I was just like, "All right, Dave, cool, dude. I took a 5-year vacation. That's awesome, brother." So, but I mean, but on top of it too, it showed me where I should invest my time with friends, you know, and also too when I did go through, that drug addiction when I was addicted to benzodiazepines, I had a lot of people say a lot of things about me behind my back, and that gets back to you, and a lot of people just wanted me to get better, which I'm still in touch with those people, but the people that were saying things about me behind my back, no, I just wrote them off. It's just like, oh, okay, if you're not going to be a friend during the tough times, then I don't want you during the good times, because there's a lot of people out there that are fair weather friends, So yeah, Doreen, that's correct. That's true. Count your true friends on one hand, and that's true because after a while, it's just things shake out and situations come up that just exposes people. And what's cool about the life that I have now is that it took me about 3 years to get the programming from the mobile or from the corporate world, like, and also college and also school and everything that I've been taught since I grew up. So, oh, Mia, that's no worries. I'm sitting here chilling in my cool little B&B up here in Flagstaff. This place is great. So yeah, just give me a call whenever. I'll be around. Um, but for about 3 years though, it took me forever to get my mindset to where it's like, oh, I would feel like on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. like I was a slacker if I wasn't working. But oh, okay, cool, Mia. Yeah, we'll chat about that when we connect on the phone. So my install date is September 12th. So Mia's one of the friends that is a good friend. When I was referring to other friends that wrote me off when I had started living in my truck, Mia's not one of them. We've been friends for a long time, and she's awesome. So, but it took me a long time to get that programming out of my mind because you're so conditioned. It seems like, you know, at least I was taught when I was a kid. Go to school, then you get out of school and you go to college, and then you get out of college and you go to work, and then you work your way up the ladder, and then hopefully by the time you're 65, you've played your cards right and you can retire. That seems to be more and more difficult these days. And what I realized, I'm like, oh, okay, instead of like trying to work and get $5 million in the bank, which nowadays probably wouldn't even take you that far. But at the time when I was working and back then, I was like, oh, I'll set my number at like 5 million to be in the bank. I never even got any close. I don't even think I got over like 20 grand in savings or something. And so I thought, well, that's not going to work. And I thought, well, I can scale my life back. When I noticed that when I started living in my or going out in my truck, when I first adopted Sierra, and then we started going out in the truck and just kind of hanging out. I was like, I don't mind like not showering for days, and I don't mind always cooking my own meals and not going to dinner, and I don't mind going out here and camping all the time. I'm actually having a blast, and so that's why I was like, I can live on like $1,000 a month and still travel around and have a great time, And I was even paying for health insurance that time. I paid. There's this health insurance called Christian Health Ministries, and it's for $150 a month. Now, granted, you pay out of pocket if you get injured, but then they pay you back in 3 weeks in full. And so I had everything covered with that. I covered about 1,200 miles of travel each month, and I might stick around. At my budget was anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 for the month. And the reason why it was a little bit more sometimes is because over like in the winter months, you have to buy wood because the wood that you could chop down in the forest is pine, and you run through it too fast. And so there's wood brokers in the mountains. And in Poncha Springs, there's one at the corner of 285 and 50, where the highways meet there. And it's Gladys and Larry, and they've owned that place for like 30 years. Awesome people. They're so much fun to go talk to because they got all these stories from, way back in the day. And you can get hardwoods there. So yeah, I'd get like, black walnut and cedar woods and oak, you know, and all that stuff. And that burns forever in your stove. So that would be my nighttime burn. And then my daytime burn would be the stuff I get from the forest, which would be the pine, which you can go through pine in like 45 minutes, you know, so that's not good for sleeping. So you don't want those longer burns for at night. So that's when my budget would go up a little bit in the wintertime. But full on in the summer is only $1,000 a month, like easy. And the nice thing I like about living in your vehicle is that it's a scalable life. And so if you want to spend more money, you obviously can. You can jam every day and spend a ton of cash. Or you can find the places that you like to camp. And if you've got friends that you, and if you're even luckier to have friends that are private land that let you stay to camp on there, then you can stay on that indefinitely, you know. But I would always move around a bunch, and I'd always go pretty far away because at the time the way the restrictions were in the forest was you would have to go like 30 miles away from where you were camping if you were there for a full 2 weeks. And so I'd just go to another national forest and go camp there. Or I'd go, and then I'd also too, I'd go to campgrounds every once in a while and pay for staying there just because I felt like it was important to kind of give back to the, you know, monetarily to those places. And then I started adopting trails from the Forest Service and picking up trash. And I thought, well, if I'm out here, if I'm going fly fishing, I might as well pick up all the trash on the way there, on the way back. And that was good because they really turned a blind eye to me being out there. They're like, oh, you're out there so much, don't worry about it. Just keep picking up trash. Everything looks great. And I had the gal who was in charge of the Leadville Ranger District, who ran it for 30 years. She's like, I have never in my life seen Half Moon Creek and Champion Mill Trail look so clean. She's like, that's my favorite trail out here. It's always a mess. And she's like, since you took it over, it's stellar. I was like, well, I go on it twice a day, and I usually get about 4 bags, or twice a week, and I usually get about 4 bags of trash each time. So, but anyway, let's see what Meadow's up to over here. What you doing, sweetie? Oh, she's just sleeping on the floor. Are you sleeping over here, Pumpkin? No, you're not sleeping. Cone of shame. I'm sorry, Pumpkin. I know, it's no fun. Let me take it off here in just a little bit, okay? She's doing a lot better. I did remove her bandage earlier today, so it's pretty awesome. Oh my gosh, JR, I didn't realize Oregon had that restrictions. They're trying to do that stuff in Arizona too. And I'm just like, it's your land, you know? Like out where I am, at my place, I'm so far off the county maintenance road schedule, and we don't have water or power out there. So I went to go pay my property tax, and I made the lady tell me, basically, I was just kept on asking her the same question. I'm like, so what am I paying for here? Like, why am I paying? She's like, well, those are county services. I'm like, you don't service our area. So what am I paying for? And she's like, well, it's county services. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm way off. What am I paying for? She's like, well, in your case, I guess we're not really providing much. I was like, I just wanted you to say it. I was feeling a little bit, you know, bullish that day. So, but let's go right back here. I want to check out the trails again back here and give everybody a chance to see the outdoors that may have just tuned in. So the website address for this is, here, let me put it back up real quick before we go out here. So I've got the live stream up here on the computer. Whoops. So this is the website that just came up there. That's the website for this bed and breakfast. It's a 1-unit bed and breakfast. So this is the only unit on the property. It's like an ADU, like an additional dwelling unit on the back here. And then coming out, so there's 2 doors. This is the door from the bedroom here. And if we look this way, you know, it's got a nice queen size bed. And then windows, this is the National Forest. That's Coconino National Forest right now, right there. And then coming out here, we've got Meadow's favorite feature, which is the chicken coop. She loves it when the chickens are out here running around. And then this is the area where I've been making dinner and also lunch. And then I do breakfast, provided by Steve and Marnie over there in the little area, so we'll walk over there in a sec. But they built this chicken coop recently, well, it was a little while back. I really like the design of it. They've got really nice ramps coming up all over the place, a couple of different places for the chickens to run around, and it's a really neat area. And then Steve and Marnie, they grow lots of vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. So that's what this garden is back over here behind their place. So they use that for some of the food that they prepare for everyone here. And then looking around here, come down here, you got a nice little path to walk. And then you've got a little sitting area with a little pond and a nice little water pump that makes a waterfall right there. So you got cool water sounds. And then coming back over this way, the other entrance or exit into the place is right there. So you've got a door here for like the main area. and then a door back on your bedroom as well. And then coming this way, what's up there, sweetie? Got some stairs here that walk down. Then you can see everything is super well maintained. They've done a great job landscaping this. I walked in and I was like, this is my jam right here, because it's such a cool spot. And the Forest Service lookout tower is right up there on top of Mount Eldon. So there's a hiking trail right out back here, which goes right to it. And then this is where you have your morning breakfast. And just a really neat place. And Steve and Marnie are super cool people. I want to show you real quick the sled that Steve was talking about that he did up in Alaska and Yukon. That's it right there, with his team of dogs and stuff like that. So, hey, Marnie. And so, really lovely place here. And also too, if it's a little chilly out, it's in the fall, you've got a little outdoor fireplace and stuff. So, really neat area. And it's coming back here. I'll show you the trails that are in the back. There's a bunch of hiking trails back here, and that's why they call it Eldon Trails Bed and Breakfast. And so in the back here, I'll show you. So right now we're walking out into the National Forest, and then the hiking trail, you walk through here, and the hiking trail starts right there. So great for dogs. If you're visiting Flagstaff, you want a quiet place to stay that's still, close to town and all that stuff. They're only 5 minutes from downtown. And, Flagstaff has got a really historic downtown. It's really cool. A bunch of neat old buildings. But this place is quiet. I slept great last night. And, it's definitely a place I'm going to be coming back to. And so I told them, I said, I'm going to be promoting this during the live stream. And they're like, oh, thank you. I was like, you bet. This place is great. So if you're coming through Flagstaff, put this on your list as a place to stay if you want a place that's really mellow and hanging out and, just really, really unique. It's a very quaint experience being here. And let's go through the cabin real quick. I'll show you that real quick. And then we're going to log off and get our dinner going. So, hey, Meadow, I know, sweetie. Come here. Let me see you. Let's do this real quick. Let's take this off you just for a little bit. Let's take the, you want to come outside? Okay. All right, so she's walking around there real quick. I'll show you what this is like. Coming in here, you've got a nice little area to sit, and it's right next to the window here. So you can sit there and watch the sun come up and just kind of hang out. And yeah, Josh, for the price, this is incredible. And then you see they got 9.6 reviews. This place is stellar, and it's really cool because these are it's like older antique stuff and really neat furniture and a neat layout in here. And it's got it's nice open air ceiling, great lighting, all those things. And then looking over here in your bathroom, got a nice shower, and it's real nice in here. And just a really nice place and just exceptional people. Steve and Marnie are so cool. And then having this outdoor place is really nice as well. And then here's the bedroom, which we just came out of. And then, obviously looking out towards the National Forest. And then you can see the chicken coops from here as well. And so Meadow is either in this window looking for the chickens, or she's over here looking for the chickens. So it's one of the two. But anyway, so Alex, hey, yeah, dude, it's great up here, man. Alex, if you're coming up to Flagstaff, check this place out. Eldon Trails Bed and Breakfast. It's great. I'll put the link in the video description one more time, or in the video one more time here so you guys can see it. So super cool place. Steve and Marnie are awesome. The breakfast this morning was insane. It was probably the best breakfast I think I've ever had. And it's just great. And they're just lovely people. So, and it's dog friendly. So what more could you ask for? And it's affordable for what you get. I thought this place would be a lot more. So, and I'd pay more to stay here. So I'm pretty pleased. So anyway, that's it for tonight's live stream, everyone. I'm gonna go chill out with Meadow over there. She's doing better. You can see she's walking around and stuff, and she's doing really good. And yeah, backcountry AV, it's fun. I was playing darts the other night. I used to hustle in college. I was good at darts and I was good at shuffleboard, and I used to crush it. So it's funny because there was these old guys that they owned a couple bars in Manhattan, Kansas, because I went to school at Kansas State, and they knew who me and my roommates were because we would always go to the same bars they would. And they would want to play us in pool and stuff like that. But by the time we got off class and we'd go over there to meet up with them to play pool, they'd be like, beer tomorrow at 3 and we're going to play some pool. They'd be hammered buy like 3. So it's like, we're like literally, it's like taking money from a baby, taking candy from a baby. It's just like, thanks for the $50. You want to play another game? You know, and literally we would go there and we would, my friends and I, we would hustle these guys, and then we'd go out and buy like clothes because we made so much money. We'd go buy jeans and, you know, new shirts and stuff like that to go hit the bars and everything, which was kind of funny. But they would always be like, "Oh man, we should meet earlier in the day." We're like, "Well, we have class." And they're like, "Can you guys like wait till 3 to start drinking? Because by the time we get here, I mean, this is like fish in a barrel, you know." And we used to. I remember this guy's like, "I'm shuffleboard king." I schooled that guy every single time, but he could hardly stand up. So I was like, "Well," and he demanded that I play him, and demanded that we bet. And I'm like, "Is he just wanting to give me money?" Because I win every time. So anyway. All right, everybody, that's it for tonight. We're gonna, like I said, log off. I'm gonna make my dinner and probably crash out a little bit early. So thanks for tuning in. Now that I have my computer back, I've got a ton of videos to edit. So I'll probably put out another 2 videos, and then rolling into the weekend, I'll have a video every day just to get caught up and everything. Then by the first part of next week, you know, we'll do some more stuff with the property. So, and then, you know, the week after that, we're heading to Colorado to get the camper. So I'm pretty stoked. So, all right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. Y'all have a good night.